Are you ready?
Hello, and welcome to the Whole House Podcast, where you can find home, health, and family all in one place. Our team is comprised of moms from different upbringings and backgrounds, and we each have different passions and giftings and strengths. We each represent a different room, and we all make up the whole house. So grab a cup of coffee and join our overly caffeinated ladies here for the Whole House Podcast. Hi, and welcome to the Whole House Podcast. Today it's Carly,
Kathleen,
Amerey,
Laurie,
And Ashley.
We've got Ashley on speakerphone today, so she might sound a little distant, but she's here.
and Glenna.
And Glenna's here.
Always.
Today, we're recording this a little early, but we are talking about Mother's Day. And so we're going to pretend that it's closer to Mother's Day than it really is.
Because when you listen to it, it will be close to Mother's
Yes,
Day.
it will be. But before we jump into that, our question for today is, what is your favorite thing in your house?
Oh, man. Who do you want to start? Because I'm ready.
Go.
My library chair. Definitely my library chair, which is a 1950s, mid-century, modern, except really, really old library chair that we got at a local little antique shop. And the story with it is I went in, I saw it, I wanted it for Christmas. And Jerry and I decided to go think about it for a little bit. So we went to a little coffee shop, Joe and Throw, which is a local coffee shop, and we talked about it. He said, if you really want it, let's go get it. So we drove back down there, and it was pouring the rain. So he said, I'll just run in there and pay for it and tell them to hold it. So he came back out to the car. Amerey's laughing because she knows this story. He came back out to the car and got in and said, I'm sorry, I have bad news. Somebody already bought it. And I literally just started crying like I wanted that chair so bad. And then he just started laughing and he said, but I'm the one who bought it.
What is it about, because I've cried over a chair too, but I didn't get it.
Oh yeah, that chair.
My favorite item in my house it might be a tie. It might be a tie between my big soaker tub, which I've already spoken about on this podcast, and this won't be the last time either. Or my... Can you go with Aunt Anna, please? Or my new bed. And it's like a mid-century styled tufted headboard.
I know, I love
It's all
that.
upholstered. It's awesome. I waited a long time to have something like that.
My favorite thing in my house is a baby doll bed that my grandfather made.
Oh, wow.
And his name is stamped underneath of it. And now Rebecca uses it, but it's not going anywhere. It's my baby doll bed. It has a plaque with my name on it in the year he made it, and then he stamped his name on the bottom, burned it into the wood.
Cool.
And that's my
really
favorite
cool.
thing. I also have a shelf that I have all my porcelain dolls on, which the porcelain dolls freak everyone out until I tell them the story of my porcelain dolls, which is it was a tradition every year when I was a kid. My grandmother would get us each a new porcelain doll. So I love those dolls, and I've had them since I was like 5.
Sentimental value.
So yeah, people go in my room, they're like freaked out by my doll shelf. But there's sentimental value behind my dolls, and he made the shelf to go with them. So
That's awesome.
I love
All right,
that kind of stuff.
Amerey, what's your favorite thing in your house?
Well, right now, I have many favorite things. I know. I have many, but right now I'd say my favorite thing is the co-sleeper. My husband, quote unquote, made for me out of a crib, and just putting our bed in a crib together. But that's just because I use it, it basically saves my life every night. I love it so much. But I think my two favorite things in my house are actually not actually up in my house. Up in my main living room right now is my white couch, which is downstairs because of toddler fingers and not being able to remove any more stains. and my yellow chair, which is currently too big for any area of my house. No, Mom, you cannot have it. No. And that's a chair that I cried over too, because we got it it was at an auction that Seth and I went to. Yeah, Glenna. Seth and I went to an auction, and we wanted the chair, but we failed to communicate that to his mom, and his mom bid on it too, and she won because she has more money than us. If this tells you how much money we had at that time, she got the chair for $15, and she had more money than but eventually she moved a couple times, and she asked me if I wanted the chair, and I cried, and I was like, yes, I do want that chair. So, those are my two.
Bambi switched a lot of furniture.
Yes.
That's true.
It's because she wants my style, but she can't achieve it. No.
Sorry, Bambi.
Okay, Ashley, what's your favorite thing?
Easily my coffee pot.
We should have all said that, in all honesty.
My old coffee pot, it broke. It just quit working. So we have a little Dollar General store just down the road from our house, and I went and bought this $10 coffee maker, and it's just the greatest thing.
Glenna agrees.
She agrees.
It does the job. It doesn't, no bells and whistles, but it can brew a really good pot of coffee. So
Nice.
Well, I feel better about my answer, because after I answered, then I was thinking, maybe I should have been religious and said the Bible. No, nobody else said the Bible, so I felt pretty good about my answer now.
Well, I felt bad when you said, like, something your grandfather made, because I do have, the only thing I've ever inherited in my life is this dresser, this really antique dresser. My great-grandfather had a note stuck to the back of it when they moved stuff out of his house. Nobody knew it was there, so I inherited that dresser, and my mom was really reluctant to give it up. But so, let's go ahead and jump into our conversation on Mother's Day, and I think Kathleen should start. We're gonna each talk a little bit about what Mother's Day means to us as mothers. Hey.
I think that for myself, Kathleen, I had some very distinct chapters in my life when it came to Mother's Day. One of the chapters in my life was when I had my biological children, my first three. It meant something to me. But I think at the time that I had my 3 biological children, my mother was still alive, so I focused a lot on her instead of myself. But there was a big transition when we adopted 4 kids at once. And I think I did a lot more crying about Mother's Day and realizing what my job and my position was with these children, with these newbies who had never had a real great family before. So those were the transitions. So what it meant to me was that I was responsible for a lot of souls, but at the same time I had some unrealistic expectations of what Mother's Day should be, and I had a steep learning curve mostly because my husband, first we owned restaurants, and then we had a catering business, and then we continued in the restaurant business, which means on Mother's Day you're serving other people
the busiest
all
day
the
of
time.
the
It's
year.
the busiest day
For
of the year.
restaurants, yeah.
So that's what my Mother's Days were like for a long time, and it took me a while to adjust my expectations, because I could have a really big pity party for myself and say, oh my goodness, I'm sitting here washing and drying silverware for other mothers and not having a celebration myself, until I finally got to the point where I just felt like I could celebrate when I wanted to celebrate and the way I wanted to celebrate instead of what everybody else was doing. So that's kind of a little bit of my journey in my Mother's Day.
I think whenever my kids were younger, my expectations were what you see on movies, you know, about Mother's Day. Everybody taking care of Mom, and the day is all about her. And so then when that didn't happen, I was very disappointed for a few years. Like, what? One day a year, guys. One. You know? But now, well, and it helps whenever they're older, too, and they understand Mother's Day and celebrating all the things that you do. Because now that they're older, they're like, oh, yeah, let's celebrate Mom, because she does everything. So my expectations have changed since whenever I first became a mom.
Well, I think of that movie, Raising Helen.
I knew.
Yeah.
Helen.
And
I love that movie.
What's the mom's name that Joan Cusack plays?
I don't even know. I'm just gonna call her Joan.
She's just awesome.
She's my
I just love
mom.
her.
Yeah.
She's just like that. She was like, on Mother's Day, she's like, it is my pleasure and my honor to make this food from you. And I'm like, yeah, I wish I could be like you.
Well, I think that my expectation of Mother's Day, I agree, Laurie, used to be like, oh, I get to sleep in, and like my husband would make me food, and my kids are little, so I don't really expect them to do much for me. But I've kind of like, I learned very quickly because my husband and I have different ways of celebration. And he celebrates differently than I do. Like, he always thinks like on your birthday, like what you want to do is go out and see a movie. Like, cause he's a cinephile. Like, he loves movies, so that's what he thinks. So when we were dating, that's what he would always do, is he would always take me out to see a movie on my birthday, and all these kind of things. And so, Glenna, you are talking more than I am. Yeah. And so when Mother's Day came and he started doing things for me, and I like was getting frustrated, like, these are not the things that I want to be done for me. But then I realized that he's doing the things that he thinks are the most important. Glenna, my gravy. The most important, like, he would want done for him. He's celebrating me the way that he knows how to celebrate me.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like really made me rethink my, like, have different expectations, and just be really appreciate that my husband he loves me so well, and he was trying to celebrate me the best way that he knew how to celebrate me. And that might not necessarily mean he makes and cleans up dinner or lets me sleep in, but he does other things for me that is showing me that he really appreciates me, and he really loves what I do.
That's like whenever you get that comparison game going, and you see other people and all these nice little presents that their kids made and their husbands got them, and I'm like, daggone it.
Yeah, he's not a gift giver.
No, neither is my husband. He's like, he buys gifts that he would actually like, and that he would think that I would also like, and I'm like, thank you. You know?
I haven't been a mother for all that long. I mean, this is only my third Mother's Day, but I just had that kind of experience for my birthday, where the thing that my husband did to celebrate my birthday was like something he really liked.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what I would have chosen for myself, but I have to remind myself that it's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember you message or text us something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you have to remind yourself it's the thought that counts.
Yeah. But as far as Mother's Day goes, like, I've set the bar pretty low just because I have a needy child, and he doesn't know any day from another day.
Well,
He's just beginning
so
to understand
really young.
Sundays are a thing. But I think last year I got like a card that Gabe helped you to make. So
so that's a win.
It was a win. It was a win. I would have liked to sleep maybe for like 12 hours straight.
And here's the thing that I've known with, especially, I think with all guys, is you have to tell them.
Yeah, I was going to get to that after we let Ashley have her.
Yeah, go ahead. Are you done, Carly? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Ashley.
So, no one get angry for my answer. Oh, different. Many years ago, like maybe 5, Mother's Day was always a hard day for me for 2 different reasons. One, because my relationship with my mother is not typical. And so it was a day that kind of, for me, before I became a mother, was very sad because I was thinking, I don't really have this mother that I would want to celebrate.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, because I am post-abortive, but this was before the Lord had healed me from all that sorrow, it was just kind of this sad day.
Yeah,
but
so it was
when
a trigger.
I had my oldest son, Brady, and the Lord began to really renew and redeem Mother's Day for me, it was great. And it was pretty much like you all said, it was never really a day about me.
Right.
We would go to his parents' church to hang out with his mom and go to church with them. They live about 45 minutes away, so we don't see them all that often. And so it was just another day. No big deal. But then as I became a homeschool mom with many children and I got busy in ministry stuff, I finally just told my husband, look, I need a day off. I need a day to rest, to re-energize, because I am always on.
Yes.
I have to be on for our kids.
That's how I felt
all
for almost
day,
3 years.
all night. I just want a day off. I don't want a card. I don't want flowers. I don't want you to spend any money on me. I just need a day to just be.
Yes.
And to not have to be somebody's mom.
Exactly.
Because it's hard, and it can sound so selfish to say that, but my whole life is my family. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's a selfish thing to say, hey, can I have one day that I can just chill?
Yeah.
So he takes the kids on Saturday to his parents' house to spend time with his mom, because her birthday's right around Mother's Day. And they spend the night there, and they go to church with her because that's what she wants, to show off her son and her beautiful grandchildren. And, it's great for her. But for me, I get to stay home alone. And that's exactly what I do. I stay home alone. I don't talk to anybody. I stay up as late as I want, or I go to bed as early as I want. I sleep as late as I want on the next day. I don't even go to church on Mother's Day. I just stay home and I just rest. And it has been some of the most beautiful times that I've had with the Lord. It's just me and him in a full rest mode. And that's my Mother's Day.
I love that.
So what's your address?
We're coming to your house.
I love Mother's Day. This is
We're
my Mother's
going
Day.
to the Ashley Mother's Day retreat.
Yes, right.
We're bringing
It's-
chocolate,
I-
and
same
you
thing
have
for
a
my
coffee
birthday.
pie.
My birthday's next month, and that's all I asked my husband. I don't need any kind of presents, because anything that I really want, I can go buy. He's not a natural gift giver, nor is he very romantic.
Right. Yeah.
And
Sounds
that's
like
okay.
my husband.
Like that, I've learned that it's better for me if he forgoes buying me presents and gifts and just kind of helps with laundry and the dishes. Like that to me is romance.
I think I posted a picture of that one day.
Yeah.
So
for me, it's just these times where I can just unwind and not have to be on for someone else. I can just kind of have a true Sabbath.
Yes.
So Ashley's already answered the second question too, which is, what does your ideal Mother's Day look like?
It looks like Ashley's.
We all just kind of want Ashley's Mother's Day.
And I think that Ashley made a huge, really great point without saying, here's my point. We need to be proactive, because we're sitting here talking about what our husbands do for us, and then, accept the gift because it's the gift. But if there's something really specific that you really want, we have to ask. Our husbands are not mind readers.
No.
And it's unfair to our husbands to be disappointed or angry or frustrated if we don't get what we want when we don't ask for it. Because like I say, you can't talk about something if you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, and someone told me, I don't know where I got this from, but that you can't expect something different than what's already been done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And husbands aren't really good at picking up on cues from us. Like our little subtle hints.
No, they're
we
not
have
subtle.
to be blunt.
Yeah.
Or they're not going to catch it.
Right, and being blunt doesn't mean being frustrated or angry.
Right.
It just means letting your husband know exactly what your needs are. And I'll just give you an example of that. In May, Jerry and I are renting a cabin, and he's going to go fishing, and I'm going to be a writing. And he's showing me cabins online that he's picked out, and I kept looking at them, and I finally said to him, you know what? I know it doesn't matter to you if they're not aesthetically pleasing inside, and they have the same couch they've had since 1960, but it matters to me because I'm going to be sitting inside writing while you're outside fishing. So he would never even have got that, and then he would have rented a cabin, and we would have showed up, and I would have went, oh my gosh,
cabin.
Don't want to take your shoes off.
Why haven't you been writing? I've just been standing in the same spot all day long. I don't want to touch
I've been
anything.
steaming this couch. So we need to let our husbands know what our expectations are, and they need to be realistic expectations.
Right.
And one of the things that for me is my ideal Mother's Day, and I've had this before because I've made my kids do it, is to go hiking on the trail.
Yeah.
I love to just go to the trail and walk, and I love to have a cup of coffee and read a good book. And those are, that's where my bar is set. And I remember hiking with all of my kids on the trail one day, and one of mine was complaining, kind of not keeping up with everyone, and one of my other kids said to him, "This is what Mom wants for Mother's Day, now come on." This is all she asked for. But that was okay, because we can't expect, we have this idea, mostly from the media, like Laurie was talking about, that Mother's Day are it's just perfect day. Everybody's personalities are wiped away. And everybody's suddenly kind and loving and giving you flowers and
your
chocolates.
husband's able to accomplish things that you're not able to accomplish, like get the house clean and dinner ready and cleaned up and keep the kids under control.
Right, and your kids suddenly just are so obedient on that day, because they know they wake up like, Judah's just going to wake up on Mother's Day and just be like, okay, I can't be cleaning or whiny today because it's Mother's Day.
Well, actually, I don't know if this is my ideal Mother's Day, but for this Mother's Day, I am actually planning a trip by myself to go visit my best friend halfway across the country. I'm going to fly on a plane by myself.
Wow.
And I'm going to spend the weekend with her, and we're going to go to antique stores.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And plant plants, and I'm so excited.
That sounds really fun.
That's nice.
Because that is something I've never... First of all, I'm not good at being alone, but I've never done anything by myself like that. I mean, I've taken a couple solo trips with just me and Judah to go visit someone, but this time it's just me, and so it's
awesome.
Like much needed, and I didn't plan it to be on Mother's Day, but it just so happened.
And that's good.
Yeah. So we don't want... What's your ideal? Ashley's?
Yeah, it was.
Ashley's.
I just want to sleep and be by myself.
I like
Not have JR come and lay on top of you.
To not have JR.
We don't want to leave it...
what's my ideal?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
What is your ideal?
What do you
Don't
mean?
even know.
Don't ask her.
What is my ideal?
Walking on the trail?
I do think that part
I
of
love
my
doing
ideal
that.
would definitely be being able to sleep in.
Yes.
But I think that the rest of my ideal would just be doing something away from my home. That was fun with my kids and my husband.
Oh, yeah.
Like going to the Children's Museum in Pittsburgh or something like that, where it was just, there was no mess that I had to clean up.
I know.
Someone else's
mess they get to clean up, and I still get to have fun and do all those kind of things. But the end of it,
People ask you, would you like an espresso, ma'am?
yeah, and yes, that's the other part of Glenna. Yeah, you think that's funny?
Someone else will change Glenna's diapers.
Yes, the most unrealistic part of my ideal is that somebody follows me around all day long and offers me coffee and food. They just, you turn around and there's a plate of chocolate-covered strawberries sitting right there with a latte, and you just get to eat it while you watch your kids do something.
Well, we were just talking about, before we started recording, about how, like, we would just like for someone to pay for us to go out to eat.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Right. Yeah, so
And not gain any weight on that.
Yeah, and not have to count anything.
But we don't want to leave it like at this unrealistic. I don't think any of our things are too unrealistic.
Except for my coffee and
No, if you go to the Diamond Club in California, that's what they do.
I just have to go to make it to the
That's
Diamond
all you have to do is start working at
Olive Garden
and make it to the Diamond Club.
So Amerey just needs like a coffee robot.
Yeah, a coffee robot.
So that's the only unrealistic thing we have. But we do want to leave you with. How about we share a story about an not ideal Mother's Day thing that has happened to you.
A not ideal Mother's Day thing.
Yes, the reality of Mother's Day as a mother.
I've had a lot of Mother's Days.
Okay, I would say that just because I've only been a mother for 5 years, because Celia's 4. So I would say that my least ideal Mother Day that ever happened was when I was pregnant with Celia and I was sick on the couch, like literally just laying on the couch all day long.
Mother's Day!
First Mother's Day! Woo!
Puking
at least 5 times a day. So, I mean, I know that's not...
I understand because I had all day sickness for all 3 pregnancies.
Yeah.
So I did that on a lot of Mother's Days when people were expecting me to go out to eat and I couldn't eat anything. And I just puked everything right back out if I didn't eat it.
Well, I've had a few Mother's Day, especially whenever my kids were toddlers.
Yeah.
Like I had like a very small infant Rebecca and then a toddler JR and then Alec is older.
I just can't even imagine JR as a toddler.
As a toddler? I know. He acts like a toddler now.
I know.
But it was, I've had quite a few Mother's Day that I just end up in my room sobbing to myself because it was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
And my expectation did not meet my reality.
Right.
So I would cry. So I've had a few of those Mother's Days.
Right, and I think that Mother's Day just sets us up.
Yeah, it
it's
does.
like it scams us. It scams our emotions because it promises all these wonderful, beautiful things, and it's just real life. It's what we make of it on one hand, but on the other hand, it's still stuff happens.
Yeah, I went to Seth used to be a pastor at a church. A youth pastor at a church a couple years ago, and for them, Mother's Day was like bigger than Easter.
Wow.
And it was like everybody dressed up for Mother's Day and wore their big hats and wore their not a lot of people dressed up for Easter.
I want a big hat.
I know. but I remember them talking. They're like they were talking and being like, oh, mothers, and not obviously mothers are amazing and they're great, and they would talk about them and talk about how great they are, and they'd have like this Mother of the Year award and all these kind of things. And I remember sitting next to Seth. and being like, yeah, all these moms are still gonna have to go home to a dirty kitchen. Like,
Wait, like Mom's Night Out, that movie Mom's Night Out, and the woman is just trying to get, oh my gosh. Every time I watch that movie, I end the movie in tears because I'm like, it's just so true.
yeah.
I can't really. I don't know if I can remember. Maybe my first Mother's Day with a baby. Judah would have been about 9 months old, and I think we must have had better weather than this year that year because we had like a picnic out on the porch, and I think. Man, I can't remember anything particularly bad. I do remember that I was like very skinny then because I was feeding a child who didn't eat food with all of my body calories. And
Iced coffee. That was a great day.
But that was probably my least. I'm trying to remember if that would have been when we'd already lived with my grandparents then. That would probably be my least ideal Mother's Day because we didn't have our own house. We had a kid who woke up like 8 times a night. So, yeah.
What about you, Ashley? Do you have anything else you want to say?
You have a Mother's Day blooper?
I don't really remember anything specific pre my day alone Mother's Day. But I do remember, I mean, and how all that came to be was, just like y'all said, every year on Mother's Day, it was just kind of another day. There wasn't, any real celebration. And not to fault my husband, because, I mean, he is who he is. And my expectations were like what you would see people post on Instagram or on TV shows and, where you're just getting lavish with gifts and breakfast in bed. And, my husband's not a morning person. And the kids function better if they have a certain sippy cup, which he doesn't know because he's not home with him every day. So it was just kind of this disappointing of, man, I wish I could just have a day to rest. And it was finally where I just spoke up. So there's nothing specific, like Mother's Day blooper, but just every year feeling like, I truly do deserve a day off.
Yeah. It's probably like
I'm gonna ask for it.
Probably like a gift from God that you don't remember a whole lot about those.
It's a dark period.
Now you just remember your good day to yourself Mother's Day.
Medieval
and
times.
It's nice. And the kids come home and they're excited to see me, and it's fun when they come in that evening, and sometimes we'll go out to eat or they'll bring food from his mom so I don't have to cook. And so it's, I'm thankful that I spoke up and just asked for the day off.
Yeah, so that's a key point to remember. Is ask your husband. Ask him for what you really need on Mother's Day instead of expect it just to happen.
Yes.
That's a good way to finish up. Like, we would really like to encourage you guys, our listeners, to make this Mother's Day something that you would really like.
Don't be afraid to ask. And tell your husband, because they're not just going to know, because they can't read our minds.
And from the whole house to you guys, we just want to wish you a happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yay, happy Mother's Day.
Thanks for joining us.
We're so glad you could join us here for the Whole House podcast. Please subscribe, and if you give us a review, we might pick our favorite and send you a prize. Please remember to like the Whole House Facebook page and follow us on Instagram at @the_whole_house. And please sign up with your email on our website, thewholehouse.org, to be notified when new things are happening here at the Whole House. Thanks so much for listening.